Compilation is incredibly risky as you go forward. And this is just one of the stats out of TNS. So it is a UK stat, but having checked the data in Ireland, it's pretty similar actually. If you were to look at all of the new sub-brands and new brands in the UK, at the end of year one, only 5 in 100, so less than 5%, had a market share that was in excess of 1%.
Not only are media habits changing, if we think about our target, which is millennials, you know, we have this tremendous bombardment of messages, incredible bombardment of messages. You know, millennials are becoming much more skeptical about the advertising that's been thrown at them.
People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe.
There's no retailer in any market these days who gets excited about a share steal story. For us to go to a customer and say, here's a plant for my waddy and it's going to take share from Kia Ora is of no interest to anybody. All our plans on our brand leaders have to have category growth as part of the equation.
After about 6 months we said, do you know what, let's see if we can create a brand, let's see can we get into the retail sector. So started it off, made loads of mistakes, but every time we made a mistake we said, right, whatever we did wrong today, let's not do wrong tomorrow.
That takes me on to really the meat of the discussion tonight, and that's kind of brand engagement. And you know, what is brand engagement? And engagement, I think, is really, you think about it in the context of the consumer's life, of the shopper's life.
Be brave. We took a lot of risks from even the Hank Marvin campaign, going with Cockney rhyming slang. We took those risks to stand out. We are a small brand. We don't have a Coke-sized budgets. So whatever we did do, we had to make sure that it was different. However, we knew that there was a certain amount of risks with anything like that. So we had to be brave, take those risks, and be prepared if they didn't go our way.
So perhaps we need to move people from thinking purely about value to thinking about values and what our values are and how we can express that to consumers and make it sort of live and make it relevant in their lives. And how can we take people on this journey if we're thinking about building longer term relationships with people, given the kind of threat of sort of own label, and how we can kind of galvanize that loyalty. We need to be thinking about moving people away from a more passive sort of purchase transactional kind of model and getting them to think about participation. And a great way to do that is to focus less on a kind of campaign mindset and think about it in terms of a movement.
Our recovery strategy involved 4 areas. One was to actually offer our consumers a more compelling proposition at every level. If you're charging somebody anywhere between 60 and 100% more than your competition, you need to justify that in any era, particularly in a recession. We needed to connect emotionally again. We wanted people to participate in the brand again. And finally, category growth was at the heart of everything we did.
You know, an entrepreneur can bring a business to a certain level, and you know, 100 million turnover is not a bad level. But if you want to have the bottle to sort of go and acquire companies and grow internationally, you need a bigger checkbook.
When you're thinking about brand engagement, it's great to engage with your loyals and your super loyals, and they'll always give you the best feedback, and you know, they're great sounding boards for ideas that you have and sentiment about your brand generally. But you know, if you really want to grow, if you want to get market share, ultimately penetration is the way you're going to do it. You know, don't forget about focusing on your loyals. They love you already. It's those switchers, those loyal switchers, and just getting a better share of repertoire with them. That's really the way you're going to grow.
Know who your key influencers are. And it's really opened our eyes as to how big these influencers are getting on the online community. We've really got to remember that these influencers are out there and the online community is just getting more and more powerful. So they are a very big part of our marketing mix now.
We need to have opinions, and consumers want to see those opinions.
And obviously I've been incredibly inspired with the work that Board Bia have been doing about Origin Green. I really think it's an opportunity for the Irish food market to differentiate itself versus some of the other markets that I see out there around the globe. And that is really a truly sustainable business, when it's good for your business, good for the environment, good for your local communities, and therefore good for the long term.